The Nerdgasm Talk podcast is brought to you by Spaces Philly. If you love podcasts, go to spacesphilly.com where you can check out Lulu and Pop, Both Sides, Turntables, Jump Thought Super Tongue, and the Nerd Coalition's very own No Gimmicks Needed. Visit spacesphilly.com today. And now, feel the Nerdgasm.
So Awkwafina's back in the news, and
time to go for sure.
Time to go on mute.
So look, man, you gotta keep running. But I'm just saying. But look, I had to educate myself, okay? Because I think a lot of the problem with all this stuff is, one, nobody wants to educate themselves. Nobody wants to be wrong. Nobody wants to deal. So I'm going to be the one out here to explain what happened and what, because I was just like, Awkwafina's back in the news. Why the fuck is she back in the news?
I know the general gist. A lot of times is stuff gets pulled back up from the grave.
But it's the whole black sin thing.
Yeah.
So, and for me to start out first, I'm just like, to explain myself, I was a fan of Awkwafina. I had no problem with Awkwafina. I like to know she's I like to Shang-Chi. I didn't know what the problem, because I just thought that's the neighborhood she grew up in.
Because you didn't know her from before then.
I didn't see the YouTube record or nothing like that. Mm-hmm. But I just thought it was some Asian girl that grew up in the hood, because I have known people, I ain't saying they friends, but I have known people that have grown up in certain hood, something like that, and it's just like, I just adapted to what it was around me type thing.
You talking about Federline?
Whoa.
He ain't from the hood though.
Yeah. But so this black sin thing came back up again. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, okay, so let me go educate myself on what's been happening, stuff like that. And I don't have it necessarily pulled up of, because it was just the stuff that she said before. And nothing that she recently said. Had recently said. What got tread back up was because she said she's leaving Twitter, and she left Twitter because she was getting death threats and people were starting to kill herself. And
this is the thing that I never understood. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? Why would you go on Twitter? I mean, Twitter's a toxic place.
Yeah.
Well, why would you go on the internet and tell someone to kill themselves? For what? Like, for what?
Yeah. Well, and I was like, okay, so because then also for to educate people, because there are a lot of people that don't understand, the difference between like a black sin of making a parody of somebody and appreciating something.
I mean, that's that appropriation versus appreciation conversation.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, the issue is this. What it all comes down to is a lot of times people love seeing elements of black culture on anyone but black people. And I mean unambiguous black people.
Yes.
It's not a shot or anything, but that's just the facts. So, knowing that, people will push, like, not you personally, but folks will do stuff that is connected to black culture historically or currently, and use that to propel themselves. And then once they get where they need to be, they cut it off.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like Kid Rock in that documentary that we watched?
Or
yes.
Miley Cyrus. Or Iggy Azalea is a different case because she was also she was doing the whole black sin thing, but she was also, I like acting as a caricature as well, where it was just like, first thing first, whatever she said. But then when you listen to her and she's just like, yeah, because all right, sis, because no, don't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you say this, people are just like, oh, you're being sensitive. Listen, this is not a new thing. This goes back a long ways. Do yourself some Googles and find out why Motown never put their artists on the covers of their records. Because it was cool.
Oh, that story.
To the music.
Real quick, that story is funny, though, by the way. The guy that's telling it, I don't know if you've seen... You talking about, is it From the Shadows of Motown documentary, or is it...
Well, I mean, yeah, that will come up, but I mean, this is known stuff. We've seen this happen in many a thing.
Which I still got to finish watching, by the way.
Probably. Like the 5 Heartbeats, same thing. Or you have people who come in and just straight up take the song and remake it, and it blows up.
Elvis.
Even further. The reasons why you have Sister Rosetta Tharpe, who is not even technically like an actual inaugural inductee in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but the folks who went and stole her music are. So I mean, come on, this is not a new thing. This is not something people just making up, because it happens with other cultures as well. So, like, I get it. Like I said, my issue here is, I don't care if that was the bane of my existence that people did that. I'm not ever going to get on Twitter and tell somebody to go kill themselves. Do you know how fucking crazy you sound?
I do agree.
And if they do it, you get charged with assisted suicide. So
me now, because finally the law is starting to catch up to technology.
Yeah.
But
because and it really came to Iowa because people was really, bringing the torches to her because of her quotations apology, non-apology type thing. And I'm just like, because I read it, I pulled it up, and she says this: as a non-black POC, I stand by the fact that I will always listen and work tirelessly to understand the history and context of AAVE. Y'all know the abbreviations more than I do. What is deemed appropriate or backwards?
AAVE is African American Vernacular.
Okay.
Also, some folks would call it Ebonics, but it's, different offshoots. But go ahead.
Gotcha. I learned something new today. Was inappropriate or backwards towards the progress of any and every marginalized group. She also, but I must emphasize, to mock, belittle, or to be unkind in any way possible at the expense of others is simply not my nature. Never has, and it never was. So that's all I had pulled up right here, because she wrote a lot of stuff like that. I'm
sure it went.
And then a lot of people were still mad that she is like, she ain't come out and say that she's sorry, and I understand why people want an apology. I said that, and like I said, and I'm not defending for her at all, because y'all hear me all the time talk about Man in the Mirror. It's hard for people to be like, I was wrong. I'm sorry. And now, is it right to go tell us to go jump off a bridge or anything like that? Absolutely not. It's not that. And I'm like, I don't know Awkwafina from the days that y'all may know her from. Because
I don't really know her that well either.
Oh, okay.
I saw a few of like her videos before she got really big, and I was just like, this is clearly not for me.
Yeah.
But that's I don't know. I think that's the reason why, because it applies more with other folks who I've seen this conversation about. I personally couldn't be like, I'm gonna cancel her, because I was never a supporter of hers.
Yeah.
Not purposely, but she was not necessarily on my radar, or she was not a person some other folks out here, because I don't want to start a whole nother conversation. Some other folks out here who be doing egregious shit, and I was just like, I never supported this person in the first place.
Yeah, that's another. You guys.
So I will just continue not supporting them.
I mean, look, get your mental break. Come back better. You know what I'm saying? And apologize if you love the culture. You know what I'm saying? Q2 said it was what the track question I'm thinking about, but y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't crap the role. But in other words, if that's the culture you grew up in, or that's what you like, I mean, there's ways to appreciate it instead of mocking it or using it for your own gain to get to get bigger, and then be like, oh, I don't tolerate that no more, or or like
hip hop it's degrading and it's horrible for the children and the youth and the girl bad.
Yeah, and all that shit.
Ain't nothing old girl can say that would ever make me be like, yeah, I'm gonna turn on the Miley Cyrus song.
No, I'm just
she's done to me, but I'm still not gonna go on social media and be like, yeah, girl, go. Like, do you know how that is y'all be giving way too much energy to folks.
They do. I'm not part of the cancel culture train. I mean, go be better, and I mean, go mean to be better. Like I said, if this is a part of the culture that you grow around and that you like and you want to appreciate and show support the culture, fine, go ahead. But it is annoying that because look, whether people like it or not, and the reason why they get mad and they want to be the loudest one on Twitter, say something. We, listen to me, control cool. Everything that has become cool, everything that's become hip, everything that is all that it comes from us, and they have to take somebody that's palatable to them and put what we do onto them and to make it cool. Go through the history of everything. That's just what it is.
Just like now, baby hairs and hoop earrings is a thing right now. When I tell you I grew up around so many black and Latino women who was wearing hoops, bamboo earrings, baby hair, slick to the gods, all that, my entire life. And there were people here long before I was born doing that. But now, it's on high fashion runways. Yeah. And the hoop earring, it's so great. Like, bro, we've been doing this literally all our lives, and it was ghetto. So, like, don't do this.
Exactly. But that's the thing, that we control the narrative, and that's what it is. When you push us aside and not give us anything in the first place, and we gotta be creative and do our stuff on our own, this is what happens. And y'all want a piece of it, and then so say, but y'all don't respect.
Wait, real quick, can you say that again?
Which one? You want a piece of it?
You said when you what?
I said when you want a piece of it.
Never mind. I was gonna make a joke. It's too late. Never mind.
I think he might have been saying when you control the narrative. I don't know if that's what he was talking about.
I was gonna say when you, but no.
Hey yo.
So yeah, I was just like this stuff was getting out of hand. Speaking of out of hand, so they trying to cancel Dwayne.
Let me tell you something.
I thought you was about to say somebody Khloe Kardashian. You said out of hand, but okay.
Oh no, you're not talking about the chicken hand, are you?
The claw.
Oh no, I ain't even getting into that. I'm not even getting into that. Okay, go ahead, baby. What you about to say?
That ain't happening. I mean, listen, I'm not surprised that stuff like this would come up. I watched wrestling in the Attitude Era. This is not surprising to me at all. So that's not to say that I don't understand why people would be upset. But I say that because the reason why cancel culture is never going to be truly efficient is because folks have too strong of a fan base. Case in point, you can say what you want and be like, but that's not right. If Christopher Brown has a career still, you can't tell me that cancel culture will ever completely work. Can't tell me.
We just celebrated a rapist retiring from the NFL. I don't want to hear shit, honestly.
People pick and choose who they want to be, who and what they want to be mad about, and then there will be people who are loud enough to, something might happen. Somebody might be like, we don't really want to mess up our brand, so we're going to drop you from this endorsement or this. But eventually, usually, it comes back around. And I'm not saying this to say that people shouldn't speak up for what they believe in or anything like that. I'm just saying the unfortunate thing about it is, depending on who and what the case is, if they have a large enough following, there are people who are not going to stop following them regardless.
Yeah. Even besides that point. Because I was looking at this, I was like, okay. Because remember I came to you earlier, I said, I hate how they weaponize woke. Mm-hmm. Because that wasn't even a thing for them. It was us telling other black people to wake up. And next thing you know, it's the woke mob. It's the woke media. It has morphed into other things. And I'm just like, what the what? Okay, and seriously, I hate how it's been weaponized. So I'm just like, okay, look, y'all. Number one, I was like, really, I said, because it was a matter of time before they start trying to come for Dwayne Johnson.
Of course.
Okay?
He doing too much. And
then, like I said, and as soon as he made that one mistake, because look, he apologized and admitted. He came to Joe Rogan's aid, didn't see the clip NDRE put up.
That was ridiculous.
He didn't see the clip and he was like, yo, I did not do my homework. I wasn't aware of this.
No, let me tell you something.
What?
let me tell you something. He gonna have to take the L on that one, okay? Joe Rogan been trash for years and years and years. Been trash.
But look at the black folks that we still support and that be on there with Joe Rogan. We ain't. I'm saying
Joe Rogan, and they gotta take the L too. Joe Rogan.
I'm with
Big
trash. You know how people out here's been trash. We get that.
I understand, but there's no way in the world, especially for somebody. This is I'm just trying to put it in context for somebody who is essentially a new age shock jock. Ain't nothing happening that I'm coming to the aid for because you probably did whatever they said you did. That was stupid. I can't give him a pass on that one. Yes, you can apologize and say I should have done my homework, but that's like somebody back in the day coming to Howard Stern's aid. Why? He probably did it. And he probably meant it.
I get it. But I'm just saying.
I can't. I'm say I give you
It's easy to shrug the shoulders. I'm saying, but everybody on this microphone did the same thing. Everybody has had somebody that they cool with that somebody else told them like, "Yo, that person is trash," and yet it's like, okay, I don't see it like that. I mean, I can't tell you how many of I don't want to put no names out there, but the person who just got recently married and how many times I told them people like, "Yo, your people is big trash." They be coming in out your house or that you be hanging out with and so like that. But it's like, okay, then naturally they go, it's like, well, they ain't been, it's always been the line, they ain't been trash to me type thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, when that shit get revealed, and then when that shit get revealed, it's like, oh shit, damn, it was trash. Because it's the same thing with Ellen. It's the same thing with Ellen, and then it came out, like, yo, we've been friends for so long, and like I said, she looks at you in a different light. Could be. Whatever the case may be. Same thing with nephew Tommy and Ellen. They're like, we so cool. And people was coming to the aid, and it was just like, oh shit, this coming out. It ain't a good. It ain't a good.
I'm just saying, as a person who has a lot to lose, we don't necessarily personally on a personal, emotional level. Cool, you might have a lot to lose if your homie is trash, and then they screw you over eventually too. Yes, I'm saying as a person who has a lot to lose, you have to at some point learn when not to say anything.
I mean,
you got to protect your money and your best interests first. Joe Rogan ain't making no money for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Ain't no way in the world. If I personally had the following and the influence and the platform that he has, and I would go put that on the line for Joe Rogan. I'm just saying, because it don't even have to be them two. I've seen it happen with other people where it's like, I wouldn't put my neck out for this person if I was you, because if you just doing it just off the strength of this my friend, if that's just being your friend mess up your stream of income, what does the friend who has now been canceled do for you?
Absolutely.
I'm just saying it from that purely from that aspect of it, because again, that's the other person who was like, I'm not even going to start this whole conversation because that whole situation is a mess. Where I was just like, I never supported him in the first place. I haven't actually paid Joe Rogan any attention since Fear Factor. And because everything I've seen since he's done that is just like, this is clearly not something that is for me. So I'm good. I'm just saying on that part, maybe don't do that. Everything else. I
mean, I think he's going to learn now because it's the same thing happened with the Kevin Hart thing.
Yeah.
Because I'm talking about him coming to Kevin Hart's aid because that's his friend. And like when Kevin Hart was either what was the thing Kevin Hart was going through, whether it was the cheating thing or something.
The thing with his
some shit Kevin Hart doing.
The apology tour.
Yeah, I'm saying, but
Kevin Hart
but Dwayne be coming to his aid because that's his friend.
He be having Erie Ave down bad.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So he seems like they kind of like if I met you, if I'm kind of cool with you, you know what I'm saying, and you have something like bad to me, he seems like that kind of person like, oh shit, I didn't look at that. But whatever the case may be, that cracked the door.
It definitely did.
Just enough.
And he that's why I said he got to take this L because he dusted that up.
Yeah, and then
could have just not said anything. Nobody would have given a shit.
And then, so then they pull up the rest. I'm like, now look. I'm not sitting here saying, I'm not going to sit here and judge and say the people that pulls up do not know how wrestling works.
They might not.
But because you don't know. So
a lot of the folks, you got to look at the demographic of just the reality of the demographic that may be doing this.
Yeah.
A lot of the people who are very active in the like social media justice realm are probably folks who were literal children, if born, when all of this came out. And also, you got to also look at it as for the aspect of how is wrestling conducting itself now. This is prior to everybody being on social media and we breaking kayfabe and everything is like, this is not that necessarily that era.
Yeah.
Again, not saying that anything he said was cool, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Don't go watch the non-Peacock version of the Attitude Era.
Don't
do it. It was bad. A lot of shit from the 90s.
It did get dark in those times.
I say a lot of the stuff from entertainment period in the 90s and the early aughts was pretty rough.
Yes, it was. And but and there was points that he said this. I'm like, wait a minute, are these promos? And I'm like, these are old school rock promos from probably I seen it when he pulled it up, and I'm just like, really. And I'm like, look, if you are offended, I'm sorry. I can't sit there and say you shouldn't be offended by that.
Yeah, no. I said, I'm not saying that nobody should feel a way about what was said.
Yeah.
Just like there are other tweets that have come out and people be like, there was a context to that was 12 years ago and I was, and most people are just like, it was a long time ago. Y'all can't, people change, blah, blah, blah. But depending on what was said, because there are some things you can't backpedal. But
well, you got on it. It's like, yeah,
you have to. But say you got to take it on the chin and be like, yeah, I said that. I'm not that person now. I would never say that. That's because it's like it's all in how you apologize.
Yeah.
Don't skirt it.
Sometimes it don't matter what you do.
Some people are just not gonna be happy. Yes, but I just had this conversation with the kid, and I was just like, if you want to apologize to somebody and write an actual apology letter or whatever, you need to begin with actually stating that you are sorry or you apologize for what you did. Not, I'm sorry if you feel that way.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that your feelings may be hurt. I am sorry for tweeting about transsexuals in a derogatory manner. That's where it needs to that's where you need to start.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you say after that, I mean, make it meaningful. Don't bullshit it. But apologize. Take it on the chin. The Rock himself is King Finesser, and I'm sure has a good enough PR team that they could get out and say what needs to be said. And what'll happen is it'll die down.
Yeah, Rock is definitely about to punch his way out of this one. Mm-hmm. Easy.
That's why I said, depending on who you talking about and what you talking about, cancel culture, unfortunately, because sometimes people need to be canceled. Like, we need to stop supporting them. Depending on what you're doing.
I believe in accountability. Some people need to be held accountable for the shit they do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say, but I'm not part of the cancel culture thing, because it's like I'm not going to sit. You can't. If you honestly, somebody said you believe in God, and you're somebody who sit there and say that, I'm gonna forget it if somebody's saying, now I'm not saying the rapist or the person who keep committing the acts.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about folks who put out ridiculous.
You need to hold them accountable. If you had held them accountable, they wouldn't be around right now.
Exactly. So I'm saying, I'm not. To me, that's what it means when we go into the whole cancel culture argument. It means that I'm not going to support someone that I once supported, i.e. R. Kelly. Perfect example. Okay. Mm-hmm. We were young. You heard rumors about it, that this stuff might be happening, or that because we were young and internetless, and there was no way to verify that this stuff actually happened. And you're like, okay, I guess I don't know.
Until 2004.
Until you become aware of it, and you become a person who can form your own thoughts and conclusions, and then stuff starts spilling out, and you like, wait a minute. So I just won't listen to your music anymore. I'm not finna give you no Spotify spins so you can buy your little noodles and commissary.
Yeah, that's now because it's a group. Because you know it's funny. He peed on that girl. That video of him doing that, and they still listen to that music back then.
Again,
I'm saying, but
I'm talking about for me personally.
You started listening to back 2004.
Me, Lady Sketch. No.
I'm about to say because neither did I. I'm just saying. So I'm guilty.
But again, I also was not going out and finding tapes of him peeing on this girl. I'm talking. That's why I said when you become old enough and have access to the resources to go and find this stuff out for yourself, which is why a lot of times I think this stuff does get trudged back up, because you have kids who now are coming of age and find out something, and they will go and be internet sleuths and find the shit. Mm-hmm. That's not something we had access to when we were 18, 19 years old, where you could just, at the click of a button, without dial-up, go and find whatever you needed to decide you was going to throw this out there and fuck somebody's whole situation up. You couldn't. That's not something you necessarily could do back then. Shit, even if I did know, I damn sure didn't want to see that tape.
Hell no.
I know. I can't argue with you, but I do think it's just like the cancel culture, this demographics of that, it gets out of hand a lot of times.
I agree.
And they pick and choose, man. They pick and choose.
They do pick and choose, because I start to wonder, like, okay, because like, do some people just want to feel a little power because they can go after a soft target? Because there are some targets that you need to go after that have not been gone after yet. Yeah, I'm saying, but you pick and choose a soft target, and it just.
That's why I think it has been.
So it has to do. It sometimes also to do with the level of power, also.
Yeah, but I think that's why a lot of it has left a bad taste. It's left a bad taste in some folks' mouth, because there are people who end up being collateral damage, like your Janet Jacksons. And, you find out later, way down the line, we 20 years removed from everything that didn't happen, and you find out that it was a literal machine behind trying to make sure this woman's career was deaded. Off something she ain't even do. And the person who did it went on to thrive. So yes, I think that stuff like that, it does get out of hand. And because people pick and choose who and what they want to be outraged about, then they're like, man, because y'all wasn't even mad about this, y'all let such and such slide with, and it's like, this is what happens when you let an angry mob of people be, judge, jury, and executioner.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it just gets, it gets wild. I'm sure you don't want to keep going on this subject, though.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, but I'm not going to avoid a conversation about it because it needs to be talked about.